Hey, Phil, as long as we're talking college quarterbacks, I understand since the last time we've talked, you've watched 2 or 3 of these guys coming out for the draft.
Yes.
I'm wondering who you liked and maybe who didn't you like?
Well, let me ask you guys a question real quick, and you can give me the answers. Okay, sell me on Daniel Jones. Okay, tell me, why is he going to be what excites you? Give me the one thing or 2 things that's going to make it really work big time in the NFL.
You want me to answer that, or you want
Yeah,
to
go
just
ahead. I
having
want
this
both of you to
conversation.
answer it.
Yeah, Well, I mean, I know what you're going to say here, and you're exactly right. The first thing I only want to talk about with Daniel Jones is he's been in the offense with David Cutcliffe.
Yeah, we need something beyond that.
But there's nothing physically to attach yourself to go, oh, this is special, and it's going to translate to the NFL. And when nobody's open, oh, he'll make this type of play. I don't see that, and I think that's where you're probably going to go with this. I don't even know.
I see a lot of good but not great, kind of waiting for the great, and just, I mean, not wowed. You don't watch it and say, boy, first-round quarterback. I don't watch it and hate it. I just don't think first-round quarterback. What did you think when you saw him?
Me neither. I do see him every once in a while rear back and throw the ball. I go, wow, I wish I saw more of that. He has great size. That's good stuff for the NFL. But there's no – the rest of it is – you know what I see? I see a guy that gets in the league, and he gets in and he practices. I'm sure he's smart and all this stuff. He's been taught well. And through time, he develops into a starting quarterback. And it's almost kind of even though I think Nick Foles was more talented, as Nick Foles stayed in the league, got a chance to play 1 year under Chip Kelly, put up great numbers, then went out and, got his career destroyed in St. Louis. But you see he's seasoned. You see the talent. He's a tremendous athlete. I mean, not maybe super fast, but he moves, can throw with people, has great rhythm throwing the football.
Right.
Not an overpowering arm, but you see a starting NFL quarterback. So that's the way I look at Daniel Jones, and I would look at Ryan Finley the same way. Maybe not even as high as I would Daniel Jones, because every once in a while Daniel Jones will make a throw. I go, that was a throw, an NFL throw that I'd like to see. Ryan Finley from North Carolina State, I like him. He looks the part. Oh, my gosh. I mean, he's the best-looking guy in the uniform coming out in the draft. But, again, never makes – and everybody else says, oh, arm strength is overrated. And I just say to all of them, once again, you're wrong.
Right.
It's not overrated because there's always in every game, 3, 4, 5 throws?
Yeah.
Where arm strength is a difference, and it's something you can't measure. You people out there,
right? Or forget about the 3 or 4.
Let me give you an example.
Well, forget about the 3 or 4 throws you're talking about too. The plays that are designed are going to be more aggressive and more creative, and maybe more type of plays that can rip off chunks of yards with the quarterback who has the bigger arm. People forget that aspect as well.
That's right.
Right.
And I talk, and here's the other one. You're just running a route across the middle. Just think about this. Again, you can't measure this. The quicker the ball gets to him, that extra one little beat, that half a step is the difference between catching it and getting tackled and catching it and running for 20 or 30 more yards.
Yeah.
Even on a quick throw to the outside, if you get it out of your hand and you smoke it out there to the receiver, which they want, and I ask many receivers.
Yes, we all
I
do.
ask Brandon Marshall all the time on Showtime. Brandon, when you run a little quick route, do you want that ball just ripped and thrown? He goes, oh, man, you can't get it to me fast or hard enough because I want it in my hands and get that extra little bit of time to see, react, and go from there. And I said, yeah, there you go, because I was in an argument with somebody. Oh, it's all – yeah, you said it right, Christopher, is when they don't have the strong arm or the arm that makes the special throws, they don't design anything special.
Right.
And so that's just kind of my take on those two. I will tell you both this, and my son, we talked about this, is it Clayton Thorson played at Northwestern this year. Mm-hmm. And, I know him a little, so I'm a little prejudiced, and watched him throw in person once. Really impressive, big guy. I mean, he's got quarterback all over him. He's just a leader of men. You can see that right away, all that stuff. But I went back last night because I knew I might talk to y'all if y'all were going to tell me what time we were going to do this today. That that, and I watched his junior tapes. Have you watched his junior tapes, Christopher?
Yeah,
before he got hurt.
They're a lot better than what we saw last year in his senior year.
Oh, I saw enough to go, okay.
Right.
We're watching a guy, I forgot what year it was. I was watching some highlights. It was against Nebraska, and he just takes off and runs and just, I don't know, I'm going to say 60, 70, 80 yards.
Right.
And I go, so that kind of woke me up. You could see without the knee injury how much more physical he was, quicker he was, moving, his arm, everything. So that kind of intrigued me.
Right.
And just now, if I had to say right now, I would probably put him over if he was really physically, if I had the doctors. Now, it might change as I watch a little more, but now I would put him over the other two that we have talked.
Yeah.
So, last week, Phil, when we talked about the Giants specifically taking somebody at 6 or 17, and I thought you made a very good case for why they should go elsewhere besides quarterback at 6 and 17 and try and locate somebody in the later rounds instead of taking the risk that high. So if the Giants pass on QBs in round 1, they get to rounds 2 and 3, of the guys you've watched so far, is Clayton Thorson the one you'd say, you know what, I hope they end up with him in round 2 or 3?
Yeah, Paul, it's not that I said I would do that if I was the Giants. I just kind of think that's what they'll do. They still could take Dwayne Haskins at number 6 or 17. He won't be there at 17, I doubt. I don't know. You guys are really more in tune to the talk than I am right now. Do you hear anybody talking about Dwayne Haskins that they're hoping he falls? But that doesn't mean anything.
Right.
People can shut their mouths and not work people out because they don't want their name out there.
Right.
But
I feel like I made the point at the start of the show, Dad, that I do feel like the buzz around Dwayne Haskins has died down, and it's not because of the latter thing you said, where it's, oh, he's so good, let's try to not say anything about him, so maybe he'll fall to us. I feel like since the Combine, where I know you and I both were not necessarily thrilled with the way he looked and his workout in general, I feel like buzz has died out, and I don't think it's actually, that crazy to where, you also saw Jacksonville sign a quarterback right after that. Maybe that was what made them decide to go, okay, I saw enough, I met him, I don't know, we're going to go in a different direction. I don't know any of these things, but certainly food for thought and things that I've been just juggling around in my brain.
Yeah, I think, look, if I had to go one way or the other, I think you're right, no question, that it is real, that the hype has died down, and some, people are not quite as excited about him as they were. And, I think a lot of teams, I wonder about all of them. In other words, Kyler Murray, we know he's going to go in the first round. Haskins is going to go in the first round. I would think Drew Lock would. It just wouldn't surprise me that teams like, let's just say Jacksonville, I think they'll draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
But they're looking to steal one, which I think you can, maybe second, third round in that area, maybe even the third. Because there's just, as I go over the list, as I said to y'all last week, there's just so many good players. And if the needed quarterback is not overwhelming, if you're not looking, I need a guy in a year or two or whatever, then it's going to be too hard to pass up all these good players. And, especially defensively, but even the other spots. I mean, man, I don't know. I don't know what happened to me. Maybe I'm getting old and I just think they're better than they are. But it's just these guys, I hate the old phrase, but they seem to be more pro-ready right now than I ever remember, even back to last year. Just all the players in general. It's pretty amazing just to see the defensive. My gosh.
Think about how many more reps just throwing a football against the defense, Phil, these quarterbacks have now than that Chris had or I had or somebody had 10 years ago. The 7-on-7 camps all summer long. These high school seniors come and take part in spring football, start their freshman year early. I mean, they're just throwing more balls and seeing defenses more than any of us ever did.
No doubt.
Well, yeah, and it's real. It's real for quarterbacks, but it's real for everybody, receivers, defensive backs. I mean, defensive tackles, linemen, everybody, they're training. And, look, I kid you not, I throw with kids in the 8th grade. When I got done with spring football in college, I literally did not throw a ball some off seasons until I went to training camp. Maybe a day or two before I go, to one of my brothers, hey, come on in the backyard, let me throw you a couple.
Right.
Because I'd be working and playing baseball all summer, and never during, even as a pro, I threw very, very little during the off season. We just ran and lifted. That's all we did. So, but these guys, I'm amazed that and I tell Paul, I tell Christopher all the time, I say, I worked out with this quarterback, and I just go, he's in college, you should see him. I mean, if he can't be a pro, then I don't know what the hell's going to happen.
Right.
What are we going to?
Right.
But there's just so many. I throw with 8th graders that drop back and move around and throw perfect spirals all the time with power in the 8th grade. I'm going, what is he going to be in 4 years? And I know what he's going to be. He's going to be really good going to a major college.
Yeah.
So,
no doubt. All right, we're done. We're getting long here. We got to wrap this podcast up.
I can hear the little tension. People saying, "Come on, wrap it up." And if you had any power, you tell them, "Shut up. I'll get done when we're done, and we'll finish what we got to talk about."
Yeah, I know. The problem is I blabbered in a lot of other segments, so it goes back to me. It's my fault.
You blabbered?
Me, yes.
Oh, I am shocked, son. Hey, Paul.
Yes.
Listen.
Yeah.
I always have a thing. I'd work with some people. I'd like to do it to Boomer. When he talks too much, slap him in the back of the head. But to slap Boomer in the back of the head, you got to hit him 5 times because his head's so big. So you guys have a great day.
All right, Dad. You're the man. Thanks as always.
See you, Phil.
See ya.
Bye.
There it is. Bam. I told you, there's no controlling him. He's like a loose bull that we let out in the ring. It's just, he can't wait.
And when you have somebody where they can't see you and you can't see them, it's even more difficult because if you're talking and I feel like you're going along, I can kind of give you, give you a little bit, some nonverbals like I'm ready to talk to. When someone is on the phone, it's just not possible.
Yeah, no, that was good stuff by Dad. I do think Clayton Thorson did.
I wanted to ask you what you thought about that.
I think that's the big thing. You have to go back to 2 years ago and really evaluate him there.
Because he tore his ACL at the end of his junior year. And I saw him his senior year, and he was fine.
Yes.
He wasn't
fine. No, he was not
great.
totally fine.
And I'm getting the feeling that his whole senior year was kind of that way.
It was. And not till the end of the year did you start to see, oh, okay, this is a little glimmer of what this guy was beforehand. Yeah. It was a stretch for him to get ready for the 2018 season. So, yeah, I think, to Dad's point, listen, he's a little lower than I am on Ryan Finley. I like Ryan Finley a little more than my father. But I think Thorson, when I do my re-rankings, he's the kind of guy that, I think could probably climb a few spots. Because when I went around the first time, I can't look at everything and just totally deep dive. I went more off of what I saw from last year. Mm-hmm. So as I've gone back and gone down the list of other guys and seen more and more, I might have to reevaluate.
Where'd you have him before?
I think I had him at 7 out of the 8 that we kind of ranked.
So it sounds like he'll come in the top 5 somewhere.
Right, yeah, he could come somewhere in that range. But I understand what Dad's saying, and when you really do look for his tape from 2 years ago, there's a lot of pro attributes or DNA traits that you look at and you go, ooh, that's pretty damn good. I don't know if it's superstar potential, but I think it's good nonetheless to where he's either a really quality backup or he develops into a starter at some point.
Worth a 2nd or 3rd round pick?
Yeah, it could be. It's in that range. Yes, I think that he could be some guy that surprises people and goes in the 2nd round. I do. I think Clayton Thorson is that type of talent. Yes.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.